Agriculture in the Classroom seeks to improve student knowledge of agriculture by applying authentic, agricultural-based content as the context to teach core curriculum concepts in science, social studies, language arts, and nutrition. In an effort to further deepen the partnership from the grassroots, Cabinet Office directed Executive Office of the President on Tuesday the 17th of September, 2024 that the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, and Forestry to establish a more robust framework for community-based forest associations to further empower local communities in forest conservation efforts. National Landscape and Ecosystem Restoration Strategy 2023 to 2032, which aims to plant 15 billion trees. Cabinet acknowledged with appreciation the growing partnership between the public and private sectors in advancing the tree planting campaign. Welcome to SOCIA e-learning for food security, climate change, school feeding program, nutrition education for all. When you have bad governance and poor accountability from your local government leaders, then you are doomed to live under control of cartels and fools. We hope you subscribe to our channel YouTube at SOCIA Mombasa and share this links with your friends or family.
The East African Community is an intergovernmental organization in East Africa. The EAC's membership consists of 8 states: Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Federal Republic of Somalia, the Republics of Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania. The EAC Agriculture and Rural Development Policy, EAC-ARDP, recognizes the importance of eliminating hunger and ensuring sustainable food security within the region as a necessary first step to poverty eradication and consequently a stimulus for rational agricultural development and realization of the aspirations of.
The exact quote by Jomo Kenyatta on the arrival of Christianity in Kenya. When the missionaries arrived, the Africans had the land and the missionaries had the Bible. They taught us how to pray with our eyes closed. When we opened them, they had the land and we had the Bible.
If we wait for others to take action on our behalf, we'll be waiting a lifetime. But, if we change our mindset to a mindset of hope and faith in what's just, then nothing is stopping us. This quote serves as a reminder that change starts with individual action and that each one of us has the power to shape the world around us. In today's world, it is easy to feel overwhelmed by the problems and challenges that we face. From poverty and inequality to environmental destruction and social injustice, the problems we face seem insurmountable. However, Gandhi's words remind us that change is possible, and that it begins with us. Being the change we wish to see in the world requires us to take action and stand up for what we believe in. It means living our values and principles, even when it is not easy or popular to do so. It means being a beacon of hope and positivity in a world that is often filled with darkness and negativity.
What is the function of central bank in Kenya? Within its financial markets role, the Central Bank of Kenya implements monetary policy decisions, manages the country's foreign exchange reserves, and manages the government's domestic debt. Central bank implements monetary policy using several instruments which include open market operations. In Kenya, school-going children and adolescents spend most of their time in school, about 75% of the year, where they consume more than half of their daily meals. The school environment is, therefore, a suitable platform for promoting and providing healthy diets as a strategy to reduce the risks of malnutrition and realize the right to adequate food and nutrition for children as envisaged in the Constitution. Recognizing the critical role of schools in children's lives, both in education and nutrition, the government of Kenya and development partners initiated the school meal program in 1980, aimed at providing midday meals to children in public primary schools, especially those in arid, semi-arid areas and urban slums that are prone to droughts and food insecurity. Hunger is a political weapon. Hunger is a political weapon. Allowing school children to go hungry is immoral, disgraceful, a strategy, a weapon of war. Hunger Games. Save the Children described starvation as a war crime. Hunger is demeaning, degrading. It makes people feel dehumanized, unworthy, too weak to stand up and fight for their rights. Hungry people don't vote. The United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, signed by almost every country in the world in 1948, enshrines the right of all human beings to live in dignity, free from hunger, food insecurity, and malnutrition. It defends the right to asylum, the right to freedom from torture, the right to free speech, and the right to education. Food insecurity, hunger, and inadequate funds in education has returned to Ethiopia again. It is now a growing problem in towns and cities across Britain. More than 1.5 million people in Britain often go a whole day without eating, Felicity Lawrence reported in The Guardian. Growing your own food is the most sustainable way to feed yourself and your family. When we grow our own food, we eat seasonally, locally, and sustainably. Growing your own food is like taking a master class in nutrition. Starting a garden. If you have a garden in your library, everything will be complete. Marcus Tullius Cicero. Life begins the day you start a garden. Chinese proverb. There are always flowers for those who want to see them. Henri Matisse. He who plants a garden plants happiness. Chinese proverb. More grows in the garden than the gardener sows. Spanish proverb. Gardening is cheaper than therapy, and you get tomatoes. Gardening is easy. Stick it in the ground the right way up and most plants will grow perfectly well. Monty Don. Most plants taste better when they've had to suffer a little. Deanna Kennedy.
In the heart of Kenya, where food is more than just sustenance, it's a way of life, a revolutionary machine is about to change the way we think about making chapatis. Introducing the world's first automated chapati making machine, designed to bring tradition and innovation together. With precision engineering, this machine combines flour, water, and a pinch of magic to create the perfect dough, consistently, every time. The chapatis are cooked to perfection on a giant griddle, flipping and browning with precision, each one a masterpiece of tradition and technology. In just a few hours, this machine can produce 1 million chapatis, feeding entire communities and revolutionizing food production in Kenya. In Kenya, where chapatis are more than just food, this machine is a game changer. A perfect blend of tradition, technology, and innovation, feeding the future.
vision of the World Food Programme, WFP, is to reduce hunger among school children, so that hunger is not an obstacle to their development. The school feeding program is a significant intervention by WFP to help reduce vulnerability to hunger and protect and promote livelihoods by investing in human capital through better health, nutrition, and education. WFP has worked with governments and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, on school feeding programs for more than 45 years. Children start life as totally dependent beings. Children must rely on adults for the nurture and guidance they need to grow towards independence. Such nurture is ideally found from adults in children's families, but when primary adult caregivers cannot meet children's needs, it is up to the state as the primary duty bearer to find an alternative in the best interests of the child. Some schools have established school gardens to supplement the school meal program, but inadequate space, farming inputs, and poor attitude, knowledge, and skills in farming hinder school gardening and optimal production for those who are already implementing school farm. Lack or inadequate school meal infrastructure and facilities such as storage facility and energy-saving methods, dining spaces, and water supply also impede the implementation of school meal programs. School with poor or inadequate storage facilities often experience food spoilage and wastage and have to procure perishable goods on a daily basis and discard any food remains, which is non-economical and inconvenient. An intermittent water supply to schools also is a key challenge in implementing the school meal program, especially for schools that have not installed water storage facilities. In such cases, water shortage compromises food safety and hygiene, increase the risks of contamination and food poisoning to the children. Kenya has had a long and calamitous history of political violence and corruption since it gained independence from British colonial rule in 1963. Much of this conflict is rooted in ethnic tensions between different tribes, which many historians attribute, in part, to decades of British colonial rule that intentionally played major tribes against one another. In this year's presidential election, the Kikuyus and Luos were once again competing for the highest office in the land. During the first devolution cycle, we laid the foundation. On this second cycle of devolution, we will emphasize on development.
The Kolro Strategic Plan outlines initiatives aimed at enhancing agricultural productivity, improving market access, promoting sustainable farming practices, and fostering innovation across the sector. Through targeted innovations and collaborative efforts, the plan aims to empower farmers, increase resilience to climate change, and ultimately drive positive change in the agriculture sector. Good governance has 9 major principles or characteristics. Participation. Good governance is participatory nature, requires that boards and organizations become more equitable and diverse, consensus-oriented, accountability, transparency, responsiveness, effectiveness and efficiency, equity and inclusiveness, rule of law. What are the 5 pillars of governance? Shared vision. Brings citizens together to create a shared vision of their nation, authority over the land. Document historic and present-day connections to territory, expansion of jurisdiction. Exercise authority beyond the Indian Act, transparency and fairness, human resource capacity.
Farming requirement. 1. The land. 2. Prepare the land. 3. Seed value. 4. Sowing costs. 5. Weed management, weed control by hand. 6. Fertilizer cost. 7. Fertilizer application cost. 8. Harvesting costs. 9. Mechanical costs, threshing. 10. Maize transport to storage. How many bags of maize can an acre produce? A maize farm's profit and return on investment.
If we wait for others to take action on our behalf, we'll be waiting a lifetime. But if we change our mindset to a mindset of hope and faith in what's just, then nothing is stopping us. This quote serves as a reminder that change starts with individual action and that each one of us has the power to shape the world around us. In today's world, it is easy to feel overwhelmed by the problems and challenges that we face. From poverty and inequality to environmental destruction and social injustice, the problems we face seem insurmountable. However, Gandhi's words remind us that change is possible, and that it begins with us. Being the change we wish to see in the world requires us to take action and stand up for what we believe in. It means living our values and principles, even when it is not easy or popular to do so. It means being a beacon of hope and positivity in a world that is often filled with darkness and negativity.
Agricultural productivity is a big concept with a global impact, but it starts with efficient on-farm management. How productive or efficient our global food production systems can become will significantly impact our future well-being. A high level of productivity in the agricultural sector ensures abundant and affordable food while fostering economic growth and food security and conserving limited natural resources like land and water. This is especially critical as we face expanding populations and climate change extremes predicted to tax our current food production systems. But while agricultural productivity growth has far-reaching, planetary repercussions, improving agricultural efficiency always has and will continue to be accomplished at the farm level, using technological probes play a key role in animal health, including digesting food, metabolism, regulating immunity, and defending against invading pathogens. In the Vedic text it is mentioned that as long as cows' feeding and welfare care are not right, farmers of the nation will never prosper, the whole country will suffer.
In a series without adequate spacing. This makes germinated sets thin in appearance, ultimately affecting the number of canes in each set and its development. In the ring pit method, sugarcane sets are then planted and raised in round pits at the spacing of 180 cm between rows and 150 cm between individual pits in a row. The pits are dug using particularly designed tractor-drawn power tillers. The pits are filled with topsoil, 5 kg of farmyard manure, 100 grams gypsum and 125 grams superphosphate, and are watered well before planting. In pit depth is kept at 1.25 feet to 1.
Be eating. Chief Oran Lions. If you like African food systems content, please subscribe and share our channel with your friends and family. Or if you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you make sure to never miss our weekly presentation podcast. Agriculture is tool to create health, wealth, shelter, protect environment, food, nutrition and basic skills development for our local communities. adding fulvic acid alongside lime to soil can be beneficial, as fulvic acid helps to chelate, bind, calcium ions from the lime, making them more readily available to plants, essentially enhancing the effectiveness of the lime in raising soil pH and improving nutrient uptake. However, it's important to always conduct a soil test to determine the appropriate amount of lime provided by fulvic acid stabilizes nutrient ions, preventing them from becoming unavailable due to precipitation or fixation in the soil. Antioxidant properties. Fulvic acid's antioxidant properties may play a role in protecting plants from oxidative stress, contributing to overall plant health and resilience. Fulvic acid acts as a carrier for nutrient ions, enhancing their solubility, mobility, and uptake by plants. This process is vital for optimizing nutrient availability and promoting plant growth. How often can you apply fulvic acid? Fulvic acid can be applied as often as needed, but it's generally recommended to apply it once a month. You can also add concentrated fulvic acid to your existing water.
Of varieties of grasses.
Liu says Juncao can survive even in the harshest of climate conditions, provided it has irrigation.
In Kenya, Juncao grass can be harvested throughout the year, with multiple harvests possible due to its fast growth rate, but the optimal planting season is during the rainy season, allowing for the best growth and establishment, typically occurring between March and May, enabling harvests throughout the year with the ability to harvest multiple times within a year depending on the climate and management. Growing Juncao grass. Juncao grass grows well in arid and semi-arid lands. It can thrive under heat and drought. It has softer leaves than Napier grass, It takes about 3 months to mature. Jun cow grass in Kenya. Jun cow grass has been introduced to Kenya. It has helped farmers cope with fodder shortages due to harsh weather. It has also helped production. Once the plants have grown to a height of 200 millimeters, 250 kilograms of limestone ammonium nitrate (LAN) fertilizer per hectare should be applied as a side dressing to promote tillering. After each harvesting, a side dressing of 150 kilograms per hectare nitrogen should be applied. This should be followed by an application of water, about 25 millimeters. While both saline and alkaline refer to soil conditions that can hinder plant growth, the key difference is that saline soil contains high levels of soluble salts, impacting plant growth primarily through salt toxicity, while alkaline soil has a high pH level, which can affect nutrient availability and soil structure. A soil can be both saline and alkaline. An alkali soil, where it has both high salt content and a high pH level. Abiotic stress is the negative impact of non-living environmental factors on plants. These stresses can include drought, salinity, extreme temperatures, and nutrient deficiencies. Examples of abiotic stress: drought, lack of water that leads to cellular dehydration, poor growth, and reduced yield. Salt can cause osmotic anisotropy, which damages cell components and leads to metabolic dysfunction. Heat, temperatures above the optimum that can damage plant growth and development. Cold, extreme temperatures that can negatively impact plant growth and development. Nutrient deficiency, lack of essential nutrients that can impact plant growth and development. Metal toxicity, exposure to toxic metals that can impact plant. Mycorrhizas are beneficial fungi growing in association with plant roots and exist by taking sugars from plants in exchange for moisture and nutrients gathered from the soil by the fungal strands. The mycorrhizas greatly increase the absorptive area of a plant, acting as extensions to the root system. Mycorrhizae, meaning fungus root, refers to a mutualistic relationship between fungi and plant roots in most plants. While the fungus assists the plant by expanding its root surface area, the plant benefits the fungus by supplying the carbohydrates necessary for fungal growth. Can salt water be used as fertilizer? Ocean water is therefore rich in minerals and nutrients that otherwise may not exist in the soil. In fact, ocean water contains all trace minerals. Ocean water, both oxygenated and alkaline in pH, can be added to acidic soils to improve conditions for growing plants. Salt is critical for the movement of water through the soil to the root system. It draws water to the root system. Only when it is too high will it steal the water from the roots, causing dehydration, which is called root burning. The principal component of sea salt is sodium chloride, while the remaining portion consists of other trace minerals. These trace minerals mostly include potassium, calcium, and magnesium, which are found in natural seawater. The commercial sea salts in the market may vary in their chemical composition as the harvesting place and method change. However, the ion composition of natural saltwater is relatively stable. Sea salt is an excellent option for many usage areas like bath salts or body scrubs, but whether you use sea salt or table salt in your diet does not make any difference in terms of health, when the recommended daily intake is considered the same. However, sea salt is still an excellent seasoning product for those who prefer it. Moringa leaves, seeds, and young branches are used to feed livestock because they are rich in nutrients and can improve animal health and productivity. Moringa can be used to feed a variety of animals, including cattle, sheep, pigs, rabbits, and chickens. Several studies highlighted that M. oleifera can be used as green fodder either individually with other crops or concentrate feeds to improve the performance of ruminants, such as the growth rate, milk yield, and milk constituents, without negatively impacting animal. Moringa oleifera, leaves, branches, and seeds can be used as animal feed. Moringa is a good source of protein and other nutrients, and can be used to feed a variety of animals, including cattle, sheep, pigs, rabbits, If you like African Food Systems content, please subscribe and share our channel with your friends and family. Or if you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you make sure to never miss our weekly presentation podcast. Agriculture is tool to create health, wealth, shelter, protect environment. food, nutrition and basic skills development for our local communities.